Welcome back, friends. Lucas here with the final video being recorded in 2025, and it's only fitting that it is going to be the 2025 Foundie Awards, where I will give my picks for the best and worst of WWE in 2025. Now look, don't worry guys, there'll be more positives than negatives, as that's just how we do things around here. So let's get going with the first of 13 categories, and we're starting with a big one actually, as we were starting with Best Male Wrestler. The nominees are AJ Styles, Cody Rhodes, Gunther, Javon Evans, John Cena, Ilya Dragunov, Logan Paul, and Oba Femi. Now, I did go back and forth with this one quite a lot before I announced the winner, but the winner of Best Male Wrestler of 2025 goes to the ruler from NXT, Oba Femi. I just felt the statement he's making in this company is second to none, and the impact that he made in his match against Cody recently, and the fact that there's already big talks about what he will be doing when he does get called up to the main roster, I think speaks volumes. Oba Femi, he was ready yesterday. I've said this on several reviews on this channel and on the Rebellious Noise channel. You know, I just think he's someone who's had a fantastic year, from ruling NXT with, you know, great performance on the great performance, to debuting on the main roster at such a high level. I think it had to be him. Nominees for the Best Female Wrestler: Bianca Belair, Chelsea Green, the Genius of the Skies, Io Sky, JC Jane, Sol Ruka, and La Primera, Stephanie Vaquer. And now there can only be one real winner. It was very, very easy, this one, in my opinion. And that winner, in my opinion, is also the best overall wrestler in the WWE today. And that is the Genius of the Skies, Io Sky. Now, I have lots more to say on her later on, but I just think performance after performance after performance has just been fantastic from her, and it's a well-deserved award. So now we get to one of the negative ones, I guess, as we talk about the biggest missed opportunities. The nominees in this category are people or storylines that I think somehow went away from the company, even though they were staring them right in the face sometimes. The nominees for biggest missed opportunity: releasing Braun Strowman, Jacob Fatu going missing in action, John Cena's heel turn, not capitalising on the popularity of Karrion Kross, not finding a single time to do the Miz versus John Cena as part of the latter's retirement tour, and then not capitalising on the split personality deal with R-Truth and Ron Killings. Now, the winner of this one, it was between two, but then I remember something. I remember that, sadly, the winner of this category is for a reason, and I did a whole week of videos on John Cena. I spoke quite a lot about the heel turn, the segment, and everything we got kind of post-WrestleMania, leading to his last match and that, and I just couldn't overlook it. I know it might be an easy option, I guess, because I guess everyone's going to pick that one, but I think ultimately because it led to nothing other than a very, very poor main event of WrestleMania that was tarnished, you know, in John Cena's final year. So yeah, the winner of biggest missed opportunity goes to John Cena's failed heel turn. Now, on to some good news though. Best Talker nominees: Becky Lynch, CM Punk, Ethan Page, You Believe, I Believe, Joe Hendry, and the ruler, Oba Femi. And the winner, I'm going to give it to Becky Lynch. I just think she's onto something with this kind of Trump-esque character, as it's not a parody, and this is where the smart thing comes in. It comes in the fact that she's taking qualities that he has that makes him successful, and she's using it to make herself successful, and it's very, very entertaining. I think she's been really, really solid. I must say that Ethan Page is a fantastic hand on the microphone, and I do think that CM Punk, he's still one of the best talkers out there, but we are getting very samey, particularly when he's not had things to do so much in the latter half of the year, so that's why I went Becky Lynch. Now on to Best Entrance, a bit of a fun one this one, but there's 4 nominees for this one, and let's go. So the nominees for Best Entrance are Chelsea Green, Fatal Influence, Roman Reigns, and the Wyatt Six. And the winner of Best Entrance is the Wyatt Six. Now this one, I think this one is quite an easy one for me. I think their entrance at Clash in Paris alone is what clinched it. I think, seeing all the fireflies lit up, and say what you will about the tag team or the stable, I guess, and how they've not been used, I guess, recently, but I do think that they have got the entrance right, which is very rare nowadays, especially with the terrible Death Rebel themes. Now we go on to the television shows, and we're going to do best and worst weekly television shows. I'm not going to beat around the bush here, okay? The worst weekly television show, and it is by a country fucking mile, is Smackdown. It is unwatchable at the best of times, and is boring and just repetitive and annoying at the worst of times. Some of the all-time worst moments of the year have taken place on Smackdown, and that speaks volumes for the man who's in charge. You need to get Road Dogg out of creative immediately. He did this before when he was in charge, I think back in 2018, 2019, and the show was the absolute dog shit. And he's back doing it again. Just get rid of him. And for some, I don't get this whole it being 3 hours, then go to 2 hours, then to 3 hours. Somehow it got worse going to 2 hours. Keep changing the commentators. Just get it fully in the bin. The only saving grace they've had really has been at the end of the year, the United States Open Challenge. Firstly by Sami Zayn, and then kind of bettered by Ilya Dragunov, and then at the start of the year, the tag division being very, very hot. And potentially this stuff with the MFTs and the Wyatt Six is decent, but the women's division lacks depth. The women's US title in particular, it just went missing in action for half the year. Cody Rhodes can only seemingly face Drew McIntyre on repeat for eternity. There's just nothing going on that interests you and excites you, to the point where if they go ahead and do Roman and Cody again, it's because there's been nothing built up on this show. Jacob Fatu lost the US Championship and then just didn't appear for like 4 weeks, and killed his momentum. This is awful. It's a truly terrible professional wrestling show. I'm sorry. So the worst weekly show by a country mile is Smackdown. Right, let me get composed again. Let's get back to the positives as the best weekly TV show. Now this was very difficult because I felt that Raw has actually been quite decent over the past few months in particular, but 2 things for me for the whole year dragged it down. Number 1 was the introduction of the Vision, and that period where I think we went, I need to count the weeks up, but we went a solid 8, 9, 10 weeks where the main event of Raw was 1 or 2 of the Vision taking on Jey Uso, LA Knight, CM Punk, Penta, a combination of any of those people for eternity, and most of the matches ending in disqualification / interference, everyone coming out, and it was just beyond. It was really bad. The sad thing is, as bad as Raw got at that time, it was still miles better than SmackDown. And the other thing that stood out as bad from Raw was everything around War Games. I'm not a fan of War Games. I've said it on this channel, I've said it on the other channel, I'm not a fan of War Games. And I think that whole build kind of dragged the product down a bit. So for me, the best weekly show, because SmackDown's the worst, and I've just given you reasons why Raw didn't quite make the cut, is NXT. I think, yes, there's been some dull episodes here and there, but I think attacks they do very well, which I wish the main roster would do. They kind of are doing with this upcoming 5th of January Netflix Stranger Things kind of combo episode, is do special episode again. I think it's needed. You know, NXT do a special episode and a PLE once a month, and it works wonders because you get big matches onto TV, and for NXT in particular, I guess it helps them be on the road more rather than have to do stuff all the time at the PC. But yeah, for me, I think NXT has been really, really strong. It's got a very, very deep women's division. The women often have the most matches and segments on the program, which is fantastic. They've got breakout stars like Sol Ruka, Oba Femi, Javon Evans, Ethan Page. You've got so many people there that, yes, some of them are going to make them. So Trick Williams as well, I'm going to mention Kalani Jordan, another one. You know, so many people are obviously going to make it to the main roster, but it still is leaving them. You know, you've still got like Joe Hendry's there, Miles Bourne, I think, as much as he's not ready to be a main event guy, he's ready to be kind of the almost main event guy there, I think. So yeah, NXT's been positioned very, very well. And look, I'm going to take this soundbite up and put it everywhere because I think it might go viral. But yeah, this current NXT is better than Black and Gold. I don't care what anyone says. Black and Gold, it just got too anti-WWE and was too actually detrimental to them actually succeeding, because NXT was becoming an independent wrestling promotion and was producing independent wrestling stars who then went to the main roster and couldn't wrestle with WWE style. And the whole point of having any developmental, if you look back through OVW, FCW, HW, you know, years ago, is these people need to become wrestlers for the main roster. There's no point in becoming wrestlers for independent promotions. There's no point everyone there being pushing 40 and then when they get to the main roster they're going to retire in like 2-3 years. You know, there's no point to that. So I think the current iteration, the people they've got, it shits all over what they've had previously. And yeah, I will eat all the shit in the world for saying that. Moving on to the Get Off My TV award. So this is an award where these are acts where I just think anytime they show up on the television screen, I'm like, please remove them. Like, just please stop. But the nominees are Aleister Black, Bayley, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, any variation of the Judgment Day, and Seth freaking Rollins. I've not got, bottom line, I've not got a winner for this one. And the reason why, because I actually think kind of all of them deserve it, you know, but I guess there can only be one. And so let me tell you two people who won't be. Because I like Dominic Mysterio, I like Roxanne, I actually like the individual members on bits and pieces, but I think that's just overexposed. And I do think it kind of ran its course, but it does look like there are some stories to come out of it going forward. I would say that I'm going to dismiss the Judgment Day. I'm also going to dismiss Bayley because it seems that she's kind of back to doing good stuff again right at the end, and she had a very good start of the year going back to NXT. Just baffling that they didn't do Bayley versus Roxanne Perez at Mania. And I'm also going to dismiss Drew McIntyre. I think he's been given bad creative after bad creative, and a lot of it's not his fault. So that leaves us with Seth, Aleister and Damian. And as much as I find that theme song annoying and his voice annoying, and just think that I don't know why they give him this guy stables that are not the Shield, because he just cannot lead one. And he was so mismatched with the Vision. I'll just miss him. So between Aleister and Damian Priest, I think Aleister should have stayed at AEW. I don't know why he came back. It's a baffling one for me. So yeah, I'm going to give, and I just think I'm not into anything he does with Zelina. He had an awful mixed tag team match a few weeks ago on Smackdown. The act just doesn't work. Karrion Kross and Scarlett were better at it. They should have just kept those and got rid of Aleister Black. So yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm going to give the Get Off My Television award to Aleister Black. So that's television. What about the PLEs? We've got the best and worst. Let's start with the worst. So, in my opinion, WWE put on a lot of bad events this year. So, getting the nominees down to respectable numbers, we're not kind of saying them all, was very difficult. The nominees for the worst PLE are the Elimination Chamber. We all know why. The end segment, that was fantastic at the time. but in hindsight derailed the entire creative of the company for the whole year. Survivor Series, War Games. Please just drop the War Games nonsense now. It's been at least 2 years too many. NXT Vengeance Day. An array of just very odd matches with no jeopardy. WrestleMania. Travis Scott. Need I say more? WrestlePalooza. Not a single redeeming feature, really. The winner, of worst PLE, and this was actually quite obvious, and maybe a cop-out because I think it's what everyone else is saying, is WrestlePalooza. I'm sorry. I just think we didn't need to see Brock and John Cena repeat their match from 10 years ago, but worse. And we did not need to see a barely 10-minute women's match take place. But then on the flip side of that, CM Punk, AJ Lee, Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch get half a fucking hour where AJ Lee wrestled in slow motion. I just think that it was a terrible pay-per-view, an absolutely diabolically bad PLE, and one which I think we're gonna kind of use the measuring stick for bad PLEs. I think ECW's December to Dismember was previously that measuring stick, but I think WrestlePalooza is now the measuring stick. So yeah, congratulations WWE. WrestlePalooza is the worst PLE potentially of the decade as well. And now we go on to the best PLE. Okay, we've got some good ones here to be fair. The nominees for best PLE: Clash in Paris. Think fantastic card, fantastic crowd. NXT Deadline. This was a saving grace after Survivor Series absolutely stalled out of the gates for me, as the Iron Survivor is a fantastic stipulation. Evolution. Who didn't like a bit of variety on their PLEs? A nice stacked card where everyone performed to their best. NXT Stand and Deliver. NXT definitely stood up and they definitely delivered. SummerSlam. Really fun TLC match, a solid main event with the return of the John Cena we know and love. WrestleMania. No, I haven't made a mistake. It has made both lists, as there were 2 excellent triple threat matches that took place. There was also the big crowd-pleasing title change, Jey Uso dethroned Gunther, and much more that there was to love about this PLE. So look, the winner of this one, and I felt this from when the show aired, that it would be the best PLE of the year. And that winner is Evolution. I've said about the 5-match card format on this channel, right? And how it irks me. A lot of the other ones fell into that category. I think Clash in Paris has 6 matches. I think they added the tag team match, very lastminute.com. But yeah, Evolution, which is a really, really fun PLE. Evolution got tied up, didn't it, with obviously airing on the same weekend as AEW's All in Texas event. But the ladies absolutely over-delivered. There were so many phenomenal moments throughout the night, and it was just good to see some variety. A Battle Royal, I think a last man standing match, a really sort of main event, talent from NXT. It was truly fantastic, and I think hats off. There definitely needs to be another one. So now on to the final 3 awards. The nominees for Best Tag Team are Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, Fraxium, the Kabuki Warriors, the Street Profits, and the Wyatt Six. And the winners of Best Tag Team 2025, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. So with this one, I just felt that we only got the Kabuki Warriors back in the second half of the year. The Street Profits have been missing in action since the summer. The Wyatt Six, I think they're just on the cusp of doing something really, really good, I think, with this MFT feud. And they've not quite been there. And then Fraxium, sadly, fantastic tag team, but since they left NXT, they haven't really fulfilled their potential, on the main roster. So the best tag team this year, in my opinion, they had the they had the most amount of defenses of the women's tag belts in history. They were fighting champions, they're doing single matches. They've been on to good things. So now to the big one, of course. Obviously WWE, we mentioned obviously some of the wrestlers, we mentioned moments, entrances, all that kind of stuff. But now to the matches. Okay, so best and worst matches. We don't want to end the video on the positive, we're going to end with the best match. We're going to go with the worst match first. Here are the nominees for the worst match of the year. Brock Lesnar versus John Cena at WrestlePalooza. A repeat of their SummerSlam match from 10 years prior was not needed at all. Cody Rhodes versus John Cena at WrestleMania. Travis Scott again, eh? Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill versus Nia Jax on Smackdown. One of the absolute worst referee calls in history ruined an already clumsy match between the three ladies. The men's War Games match. Dangerous, boring in parts, and pointless, as most of the stuff has not been resolved still, despite the stipulation. Women's War Games match. Just more of the same, but with women. And the winner for worst match of 2025, and I hate to do this, particularly I've just given 2 awards, I think, back to back to the ladies, is the women's War Games match. I hate War Games, I really hate it, but I particularly hate it for the women. It just doesn't make any sense as to why we want to watch this match. Are we meant to be cheering on to see women bleed, you know, and hate each other? And, you know, I just think of all the positives that came out of Evolution, you know, having positive role models for women and to entice younger female fans to get into the business as viewers or as wrestlers, I just think a lot of that gets undone when barely 5 months down the line you then go into Women's War Games. And this year's match in particular, looking at the match, you know, bless her, Lash Legend, she came up to fucking crickets because no one knows who she was, no one was invested, you know, in most of the people in the match, and most of them only did like 2 things and just laid around. AJ Lee again wrestling in fucking slow motion. And so yeah, the Women's War Games match by far was the worst match of the year for me. Let's get to our final award, and that is the best match. And there's a lot of nominees for this one. There's a lot that I had to cut off. I think I got it down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got down to 7. Yeah, I wasn't going for 10, but yeah, on the Oscars too. But you know, not the Oscars. Not yet. I've got a bow tie though. No, can't see it. I'm wearing a black bow tie on a black polo. No! The nominees for the best match, and they are John Cena versus Logan Paul at Clash in Paris. Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn at the Elimination Chamber. Oba Femi versus Javon Evans, NXT Heatwave. Seth Rollins versus CM Punk, Raw Netflix premiere. Gunther versus CM Punk at SummerSlam. And the 6 tag team TLC match also at SummerSlam. This for me is another one where the minute it happened, I just knew it couldn't be topped. I think in terms of the best in-ring product we've seen from the WWE this year, and you know, to quote Becky Lynch, it's not just me saying it, Dave Meltzer said it too actually. He rated this match 5 stars, which is, you know, above I think all the others that I mentioned here. This match was phenomenal. You know, I don't care gender, age, what time, what kind of product you're into, this was the shit. I'm sorry, this was the absolute shit this year, in a good way. And this was a fantastic match. Io Sky is wrestling circles around that division as far as I'm concerned. She's fantastic at everything she does. She deserves much more praise than what she gets. I watched it again recently and it still holds up. So yeah, congratulations, best match of the year, Io Sky, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. But look guys, let me know your thoughts, let me know your comments, or let me know if you agree, if you disagree. Please drop a comment below. Please like, share and subscribe, and let's bring in 2026.